see how I got to and progressed to the token extractor. So I think that's the main thing that people will want to go over. But to me, I didn't start out with the token extractor. Like it wasn't my goal. My goal was and it has been around. So to me, overall, there's been a lot of people that have been releasing models. Like a lot of models have been released. Like every day, there's a new model released, right? But at the same time, there's been it's kind of like an interesting thing that has developed with model merging, where it's not only good, but there's a lot of room for improvement with merge techniques and different things that you can do with merging overall. And then so it's been like more intriguing to me, like the merging and like that field than actually building the models. And then it's expensive to build big models, right? Uh, but it's not expensive at all to merge models. And then so I think there's a lot of room for research there, and it's easy fruit overall, right? I mean, it's just a lot of things overall that draw me to it specifically. But so I've been really invested lately in model merging as opposed to like building out models. And then so within that, I decided to like start looking into like kind of like the ancillary areas around it. And then so one of them I started developing was like this tool, like this LLM model compatibility tool. And then so if you read the code, my goal with it is essentially to like look at different metrics between two different models and then compare them. So like in this first instance, it's BERT and GPT-2. And then you can see like number of layers, the hidden layer size, their vocabulary size, and then number of parameters, and then kind of just like working out how exactly I want this to look like. And then down here, and then more, I start trying to add more features to it, essentially, is what we're looking at here. And then so you can see this is a comparison between Tiny Llama and Quen slightly small, Quen 0.5b. Um, and then so you can see that there's actual differences between the number of layers, 22 compared to 24, as well as the hidden layer size, 2048 for Tiny Llama compared to 1024 for Quen 0.5. Although you can see that they do share the same activation function, so that's something new that I added in the second one here. And then more on the vocabulary size, like getting more and more in depth. And then that's where I start. At this point, I realized like, wow, like you can actually like view and pull out the unique tokens as well as the vocabulary overlap, and it was really easy to extract from the model, right? And I was like, wow, I didn't think it would be this easy to extract like this particular information. And then so I was like, wow, like so okay, so if we can pull this information raw, like let's kind of like take it a step deeper than essentially, and let's look at like what the actual values are, like what the actual tokens are. Uh, and then so essentially in this, I modify the code, so I strip out everything else, like all of these other like comparisons. I was like, well, like for this, I don't care about any of that, right? I just want the tokens. I just want to compare the tokens, and then that's it. And then so that gives me like this really small function here. Like it's actually really easy to execute overall, right? Like super easy to execute. And then I execute this, and then I get all of the unique tokens. So like 142,059 unique tokens in Quen that Tiny Llama doesn't have. And then so we can see like there's a total there's a bunch more tokens in Quen, but Quen and Tiny Llama share some of those tokens. So those are excluded, right? So then these are just the unique tokens that are unique to Quen, the Quen model. And then so I just pull like I mean it's all of them literally like and then so from here you could do whatever you want, right? Like train the model on it specifically. Like there's a lot of things that you can do with just being able to pull the unique tokens from the model, and then so you can pull all of the information that has been put into the model, right? Like all of the unique information is embedded into the unique tokens, and then so that's kind of like a big thing, right? Like so if you did this say to uh, a model that had been like fine tuned on corporate data or anything like that, like all of the unique tokens that I would be pulling would be all of that unique corporate data just let out, right? Like that's uh, exactly what it would be, and you can see it's all I need access to is the weights essentially to be able to run this code, like and extract the unique tokens, and then from here I could train like the model on the unique tokens itself. Like there's a lot I can do with the code from here, right? And a lot I can do from here overall. And then so it's from a security standpoint, I think that's the number one thing. Like I don't I guess like the first thing that I'm doing is like calling out tech companies. Like I don't understand. Like it's more and more. There's more releases every day with regards towards external facing LLM models and security vulnerabilities. And I've been saying it, like from the beginning that like I don't think like rushing to commercialize is not the avenue here. Like and I'm like big on that overall, and I've been big on that, and it's for reasons like this, right? Uh, I like there's already been two AI winters through overhype, and then so to me you get through its overhype, and then like massive security vulnerabilities, right? Like I mean it's essentially like we've reset to the age where like SQL injection, like anyone could do a SQL injection, but like it's even easier than SQL injections. Like it's like crazy times. Like we just reset like 25 years as far as like overall security of these things, and I'm just overall highlighting and pointing that out is kind of the biggest thing. Like I don't like so from ever since I've launched my company, right? I haven't. There's a reason why I don't have external facing LLM models. I don't like I utilize LLM models every day. And but I don't like none of my stuff is external facing, right? And it's for these reasons like this. If any company ever asked me, or any consulting contract that I've ever been on, like, do I recommend putting like a public facing LLM model? No. And if they do want to go forward with it, I say, here's a bunch of external guardrails that you should put in, because it's impossible to put in like some instances, and in a lot of instances internal guardrails. Like the guardrails have to be external. You don't have a choice if you want actual guardrails, right? Like if you want people to not be able to go in and just be able to extract all of the unique tokens from your model. And so like overall I don't know what the solution is to this overall. Like to me it's there's a reason why like LLM models were in the background as far as like research and not being corporatized. But that's a whole different conversation, and I'll keep that out. I'll mention just overall the security vulnerabilities, and we'll just stick with that. And then so just highlighting again another vulnerability that is out, and then it's really easy to access. And then to me, I guess overall, like the last thing that I'll say on this topic is I have no qualms whatsoever about releasing. Here's the code. Like I'll leave the GitHub repository. I have a GitHub repository of this as well as a collab. And then like so to me, like it comes down to like copyright, right? And then it's like if you look at like every tech company regarding training of these models, where are these unique tokens coming from, right? And then like I've been saying it from the beginning, like these unique tokens are coming from like the data set that we would classify and we would call the internet. And then this data set that's called the internet is filled with copyright data. It's filled with publicly accessible data, like publicly accessible data, right? Publicly accessible data doesn't mean that it's not copyrighted data. So of course it is copyrighted data. And the model knows like Harry Potter, for example, like that's a big like topic within research, right? And then so very clearly it's all, like the models are trained on copyrighted data, and then how that plays out is a different story overall. But the training process is very clearly on that, and then so none of these companies refute that. And then so to me, overall, what that means is like if they're treating copyright that way, that's exactly how I treat copyright with regards towards these models, right? And then so it's just fair game overall. Like sure, I'll buy that argument, and I'll support that argument because I think it's a good argument overall. It's got teeth, right? There's a reason why it hasn't lost in court. But that argument works two ways overall, right? Like so, it's yeah, sure. So copyright doesn't exist. So what's the reason why I can't just extract like the 142,000 unique tokens from Quen and then train Tiny Llama on these 142,000 unique tokens, which is really easy to do and straightforward to do. and a lot easier to do than creating a data set that would have these unique tokens, right? Like, that took forever. I have it in JSON-L format right here, all ready to go. I just literally trained the model on these tokens that I just extracted, and then now it has all the same tokens that Tiny Llama has. And then if you look at, like, I chose these two models specifically, right, because Quen outperforms, in my opinion, Tiny Llama. Even though it's got like half the tokens, it's like one of my metrics that shows it's like 2.2 times bigger, and then so the reason for that is so many extra unique tokens. We can see that now, right? And then so I'd be curious, like, okay, let's give Tiny Llama all of the extra unique tokens that this coin has, and I think you'd see the entire difference there. And then so, I mean, overall things like that too. I don't know if overall companies overall want that out, but I mean this is what it is, right? And then so I'm like, there's no reason to hide it. Like it's be like hiding a SQL injection. And then so my goal with this overall isn't to go over this or anything like that. It's to point this out as far as like what's the solution from here. And then to me, solution from here is pretty simple. like shouldn't have fired your red teams from the beginning and like your philosophy teams and all of that, but you did. And then so maybe bring those people back. I mean, that'd be my solution, right? Like, maybe it's not the best solution for the bean counters, but that works. I like that would prevent people like me from being the first people to find this stuff out. You'd find this stuff out internally, and then you can go from there. But it's not the world we live in. So in this world, if you like this type of content, please like and subscribe. Thank you very much.